Hey everybody, so today we are going to solve some math problems. Yesterday we talked about rectilinear figures, and today we're just going to be talking about um, solving multiplicative word problems using area and perimeter. Now, the word multiplicative should sound familiar because that was when we talked about times as many. When something is times as many or greater or less than. So we're still going into multiplicative word problems, but we're going to use area and perimeter. So you should have paper and pencil to be prepared to write down, jot down notes, solve the problems as I'm solving it on my screen. Um, yep, that's about it. So make sure you're ready to start with these word problems with area and perimeter. So, before we even start on that, let's remember area is what? And perimeter is what? Area is length times width. Perimeter is, remember, you gotta add up all the sides. All right, so we're going to be using both of those to solve these problems. So, we're going to look at the first problem. We're going to read the word problem and then answer the questions. These come with multiple questions, so we're going to answer the questions thoroughly. So, excuse me, guys. So, the first question, what would the length be? What would the length be if a rectangle is 2 units wide and the length is 3 times the width? So, I'm going to draw with a white today. So, what would the length be? So, that means I'm trying to find the length, right? So, that's my question. I need to figure out what would the length be if a rectangle is 2 units wide. So that means if a rectangle, right? So we can draw out a rectangle, and it's great for you guys to draw out these problems when you're dealing with word problems. So if it's 2 units wide, let me put my 2. I know it's 2 units wide, right? And so if it's 2 units down here, then of course it's 2 units up there. Um, and the length is 3 times the width. That doesn't mean the length is 3, it's 3 times. So what is 3 times the width, which is 2? So what is 3 times 2? 3 times 2 is 6. So that means my length is how much? 6. So my 6 goes on both sides. Remember, they go on both sides. So what would the length be? My length would be 6 then. I solved that problem. I solved that question. So the rectangle is 2 units wide, and the length is 3 times. You got to remember that 3 times means I'm multiplying it by my width, which is 6. Now, we answered that question. Now we're going to answer the questions below it. We drew out our rectangle as well. It's very important to draw out when you're solving these word problems. So, first question, another question, not the first one, second one. What's the area of the rectangle? What is the formula for area again? Can think about that. What's the formula for area? Good. The formula for area is length times width. So I know that I am multiplying length times width. And when I multiply length times width, 6 times 2 will equal to 12. So 6 times 2 equals 12. So that is my area. So now I got my answer to this one. So now I got to look at this next one. What's the perimeter? So think about perimeter. What is the formula for perimeter again? Yes, perimeter is length plus width plus length plus width. So you're adding up all the sides. So I need to add up every single one of these numbers. So 6 plus 2 plus 6 plus 2. 6 plus 2 is 8 plus 6 more is 16 plus 2 more is 18. Or did I do that right? No, I didn't do that right. 12, 13, 14, sorry, 16. So the perimeter is 16. So I answered all 3 questions. I found my length. I found my area. My area is 12. And I found my perimeter is 16. Now, is it very important to make sure you organize your work? So if I were to make sure this is organized, I can say my area. We can put it on the inside actually. My area is 12. My perimeter is 16. And that's how you solve this first problem. All right, so let's look at the next problem. Now, of course, it's different colors. So what would the length be if a rectangle is 3 units wide and 4 times as long? So remember, every time you have these word problems, you need to draw out your rectangle first. So we're going to draw out our rectangle. And it says, what would my length be? So I'm still looking for a length, right? So the first part, I'm looking for my length. If the rectangle is 3 units wide, so that means I'm going to put 3. Remember, whatever you do at the top, do at the bottom, whatever you do at the bottom, do at the top. And 4 times as long. So I need to figure out what my lengths are, but I know it's 4 times as long. That doesn't mean 4 goes right here. 4 does not go right there. That means I have to multiply 4 times as long as my width. So that means 4 times 3, which equals what? 12. So that means my length is actually 12. So I have my length. Good, check off. My length is 12. Now let's answer the questions at the bottom. What would my area of a rectangle be? We know that area means length times width, so I'm going to multiply 12 times 3 to find my area. And what is 12 times 3? What's my area? Good. My area is 36. Now I need to find my perimeter. Perimeter, think of rim, around the entire area. So perimeter means I have to add up all these sides. I got to add up 12 plus 3 plus 12 plus 3. So when I add these up, what will my perimeter be? 12 plus 3 plus 12 plus 3. Good. It will be 30. So my perimeter is 30. So my area is 36. My perimeter is 30. So again, this is just another example of how you solve these word problems. Remember, draw it out. Make sure you read it step by step and answer the question. All right, so now we're going to go on to a different word problem, but this may be different than the ones before. So with this one, it says Amanda painted a mural. Mural is like a picture for school with an area of 24 square meters and a length of 8 meters. What is the width? So I'm just trying to find the width. So remember, we're first going to draw out our rectangle, right? That's the first thing you do. Always draw out your rectangle. And it says the area is 24 square meters. So I already know what my area is. So I'm just going to put area in here. My area is 24 square meters. And my length is 8. So I know that my lengths are 8. But what is my width? This is what I need to figure out. What is my width? So we got to figure out, how do I find area? How did I find, that's my question mark. How do I find area again? Area equals length times width, right? Okay, area is length times width. And I know that, do I know my length? Yes, my length is what? 8. So if my length is 8, and I know what my area is what? 24. All I'm doing is plugging in my letters. 24 is area, my length is 8. But do I know my width? No. So I need to figure out 8 times W, or 8 times what, will equal 24. You can't multiply, you can divide. 24 divided by 8. What will that be? What is 24 divided by 8? Or 8 times what equals 24? Good, it's 3. So 3 is my width. So my answer, width equals 3. My answer is 3. So sometimes you may find the area and the length and you don't know what the width is. Sometimes you know the area and the width, but you don't know what the length is. All right. So we're going to do another problem like that, but I want to type it up. So if I say that Jacoby has an area rug that, let's say Jacoby has a rug that is 30 centimeters. Jacoby has a rug and the area is 30 centimeters. Okay. And let's think about what would the width, let's do the width. The width is 5 centimeters long. What is the length? What's the length? So this question, as you can see, I want to find out what is the length. I make it a little bit bigger for you guys. What is the length? How long is Jacoby's rug? All right. So remember, first step is to do what? Yes, draw out your rug. So this is his rug. Mine doesn't look exactly neat. Here's my rug. And the area is 30 centimeters. Cm means centimeters. The width is 5 centimeters wide. So I know that it's 5 centimeters, but I need to know what is the length. How long is our rug? So our formula for area is what again? Area equals length times width. And do I have my length? No, that's what I need to find out. Do I have my area? Yes, my area is 30. 30 equals length times my width is 5. This is an L. So I need to find out what is my length here. So remember, if you can't multiply, you can divide here. But what times 5 equals 30? Good, 6. So my answer is 6 is my length. So remember, we're going to review just quickly. You might have to find the length, you might have to find the width, or you might have to look and see how many times greater something is, and then find the area and the perimeter. So now we're going to just look at this problem, and we're going to make sure that we solve it step by step. So the first thing, I'll have this first. First question is, so Delaney has a rectangular painting that is 5 units long and the width is 4 times as wide as the length. All right. So what's the width? So we're trying to find out how wide it is. So remember, first draw out your rectangle. All right. And it's 5 units long. So I know it's 5 units long, but the width is 4 times as wide. So that I need you to find out what is the width. Good. So you should have done 4 times 5 and got 20. So my width is 20. So now what I want you guys to do is I want you to find the area. So can you guys find the area of this rectangle? Good. So we know area is length times width, so you should have multiplied just 20 times 5. And 20 times 5 is 100. Now, what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to find the perimeter. Perimeter is adding up all the sides. So if I add up all these sides, what will my perimeter be? Good. So if I add up all them sides, 20 plus 20 is 40, plus 5 is 50. So my perimeter would be 50. So you see how we did these step by step. Area is length times width, perimeters adding up all the sides. You got to find a missing one. Make sure you read it carefully. So this is pretty much the lesson for today. We're going to do some practice problems, so hopefully we will get better at practicing and make sure we're solving these different types of problems. Just make sure you look at the question carefully and see what the question is asking you, and then make sure that you're drawing it out as well.